Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be with you today. I am Magdala Ramirez. Today, we're going to be talking about that thick layer of separation and what is going on, what is happening, and what it is needed, and where the work is. There is so much going on everywhere. You have the big fires in Hawaii, which is, oh my gosh, devastating to see. And there is the winds, and there is the warlike that people have in their heart, the fights. This is a time of tribulation. And when it is the time of tribulation, yes, we do need to understand what is going on. Systems everywhere in the world are falling. And how do this mean? What do this mean? It means the Meltway. Human beings are encountering a very different way of living. And this is the sixth sun, a new way of living. A new way of living that it is about oneness, that it is about that true human being, that it is that place within the self that it is able to recognize yourself as the children of God. And in order to get in there, there is this thick layer of pain and suffering and separation. A thick layer that everywhere in the world, it is taking place right now. There is so many stories that it is important to heal. And it is important to forgive. And it is important to trust that the path is there for peace and beauty and a very different understanding. Things are going to get worse before it get better. But in that meantime, it is the choices of the people. It is the choices that you make every day. You want to choose perpetuating a system that it is absolutely decadent, a programming that it has been in there for a long time and many generations, that everything is about that separation. Or you do want to choose a world of oneness with honor and respect to every tradition, every parts of the world. And this is happening within your own self. You want to choose all your relations and understand all your relations inside of you. And how do this is working? As you know, the new world, it is about how do we relate and understand a higher way of communication, the way that people relate with each other, the way that people relate with the beautiful planet that you live and you depend on it. But the most important is how do you relate with yourself? And understanding these places within you, it's a very important at this time. Because your mind completely overpowers your heart. Does your heart, it is afraid to be and say what you truly feel, who you truly are, what you really, you know. You have all this wisdom inside of you. And if you don't speak about it, all this knowledge is going to be lost. You know how to do this. It is up to you to create a new path for you and the many. You must realize that the way that you perceive our reality, it is very much bonded onto you only. Only you can see that perception of reality. Nobody can see that. Yet what it is in the heart, in your core of your being, it is absolutely where this connection resides for everyone. You have been living in a hologram. This is just a hologram. In our tribe, we call it the Tecastlipocas, the smoky mirror. And when you realize how to relate with these forces, it really creates a very different form. When you realize that you are in a realm of love, because you needed some lessons of love. And this is the ultimate lesson. The understanding that you are love. And as love, it is very important to relate in that manner, without the attachments, without all these things that creates rules and regulations and how to relate. Just by honesty and truthful. That's how you heal. That's how you relate. And that's how you go through that thick layer of separation and understanding that before that thick layer of separation, it was a world of unity and love. And this is where you're going right now, back into the original. You're born with so many talents, so many skills that you uncover every day. And using it in a good way, for the highest good of everyone, it really will bring such a beautiful understanding of reality. That is where your liberation comes about. No one can liberate you except you. You have the connection with the one that created you, and she is healing you if you allow it. Working in the ways of the feminine, it really awakes this absolutely natural power that the people have, abilities that you have. You have the ability to recognize truth. You have the ability of telepathy is absolutely normal. You have the ability to go beyond time and spaces. You know that you're not bounded by time. You can see from the future back. You can remote view absolutely everything that you need to remote view. You have so many other abilities that it has been uncovered as we speak. In every ceremony and every teaching, all these abilities are being awakened. And yet it is up to you if you want to use it. For a long time, the system prohibit to use all this power and abilities. Why? Because it will manipulate you. They wanted to manipulate you. They wanted to limit you. They wanted to enslave you. And for many generations, that's what happened. But not anymore. The system is falling. And it is the time for you to create a different way of living. Give birth to a new way of living. And that is your masculine way. The way that you relate based on what you know. Forgiveness is a big liberation. But I'm telling you, it will be a time when that is not even going to be in the picture, because you will understand what happened and what happened to the people that hurt you and how you can very much learn from that hurt. Let it go, that hurt. Recognize the message and keep on walking. The old situations that it has been in the system that brought so much of that colonization, it got into the peoples. They felt separated when that colonization is taking place. Even the colonizers, the one that keep on colonizing everything, they don't know what they are doing. And once they begin to realize what they are doing, they're going to stop doing it because they do want to move on too. There is so much that it was in the hidden that now is being presented. Now it is in the equation and creating a very different vibration in the human being. It is a receiving and giving in everything and in everyone. Think about what you are giving. What are you offering to the people? Think about what you are receiving. And many of these things that you're receiving, you can say, no, thank you. And that is perfectly fine when it is not for your highest good, when it is a toxic energy, that it is there and that people offer it because they don't know better. But now you know. And you know how to use those incredible abilities. And as you work in yourself, you go deep into your center, finding your true self. And as your true self, all these powers came into being. We need to call it powers nowadays because people didn't know that they have that. Yet it is absolutely in nature. It is normal for all human beings to realize. Women hold it for so long. They just knew about this, but they didn't trust it because it wasn't allowed in the system to use them. It was so much of that repression that it was taking place. But not anymore. Not anymore. There is all these stories that the abuelos y abuelas used to say about it. The story of this camel that the owner comes and always tied it in the same tree over and over again so the camel won't go. But at one time, that tree was gone and he goes and said, oh my gosh, where do I should just tie my camel? And the people says, just pretend that it is there and the camel will stay there thinking that it still is there. Well, that is exactly the situation that it is taking place right now in the world. For a long time, you were tied in some places. You were just bounded and binded by some places that you thought that you cannot go. You cannot understand this. Well, whatever it was stopping you is not that anymore. It's not there anymore. You can realize it. Trust yourself. Begin to not to sabotage yourself so trust can be easy. Bring that forgiveness to your own self first. That is where it is that liberation and a very different understanding of who you are. As you know, human being is multidimensional by nature. And you can see it in a normal basic. As I was telling you, everyone has a very different reality. And it will be based on your consciousness. As you raise your consciousness, the whole reality changes. And when you can see Where is that door for the multidimensionality? It is in your male and female. It's a bridge. That's what we call the rainbow bridge. And this rainbow bridge is what allows you to go higher in the next step of the pyramid, and it will be a very different vision for your reality. And I'm putting reality in quotes because it is just an hologram that it is there to teach you about love. Lately, it has been so much about the male way. And the male way has to do with that expression, the manifestation. And in the manifestation, there is people so sad and depressed, completely autodestructive in so many ways. So many things that it is going on so much in that male way. And you have the earth people, you have the water people, the fire people, and the air people trying to figure it out how to heal their own elements and every element within yourself, because all the elements are in you. And when you are able to receive those messages and understand it, that whatever it is happening to me is also happening to you. We're not disconnected. All these stories and all this so much healing to do, it is taking place right now everywhere in the world. It's overwhelming, yes. But if you start slowly, but if you start with the presence of your own presence, open your senses, practice opening your senses all at the same time. Bring that presence of your own presence and hold it. Hold it longer every time that you do this. You need you in your life, isn't it? And that's the presence of your own presence. And sometimes people in the very beginning, they can tap into that and then disconnect and disconnect and disconnect. Well, as you hold it, that presence, and bring it more and more time and more time, that is when you're receiving that healing, that it is coming from within. That's when you stop hurting. That's when you stop colonizing. That's when you remember the true human being that you have always been. We do have a school online where we are working intensely with so many people from everywhere in the world. It is the time for you to reach you and understand how what you do, it is for all of us. What we do is for everyone. You're creating a better place. It is the time to sacrifice that ego of separation. You can find us in magdalas.com. That is MAGDALAS.com. And download Messages from the Great Mother. She wants you to know that she walks with you and sending you this little message every day. A message that it is only for you. Nobody has that message but you. And she is in that perfect synchronicity of whatever it is happening in that moment. Thank you for your work. Tlatsokomate, tlatsokomate, tlatsokomate. I am you. I am Magdala.